make sense, because of like the specific lens they have to use and a bunch of different things. So it was explained up front that there is going to be, you know, some pain and discomfort. But he mentioned that they can't all be done at once because of the level of discomfort, and it's possible for the eye to swell if you push it too far, essentially. Was the TLDR. Correct. I am a type 1 diabetic. So that's why they separate the appointments into 3 different appointments per eye. How long does it take to recover from each session? Okay, so it's the weirdest thing because as soon as you're... I'm not kidding. When that lens is up against my eye... One moment. Hey.
Hey, honey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Where are you right now?
Mission Row.
Can I ride that?
Where are you?
Be sure so.
I'm on the way.
Thank you.
Doing the speed limit.
Of course. I expect nothing less.
Do you want nothing less than the speed limit?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I just... Did you know about Barrick's journal?
Yeah, I need to speak to him because I wrote a search warrant for it.
I heard what the contents of it was, and I'm uninterested in... Apparently he's fine, by the way. I spoke with Sky.
Oh, yeah, I heard he's at a hospital, but I don't know anything more than that.
Well, no. Well, okay. So the context that I have is he was missing, then he was in the ICU, and then you informed me when I was up late that one day, that he was just, there was no signs of like any sort of like struggling or anything. Like it didn't seem like he was kidnapped. But nobody could find him or locate him. So that's the last I heard, and then Sky mentioned that he has been, like, he's good. Mentioned what the general contents of the journal was, but I made it clear that, like, I have no interest in reading it. I know she mentioned I was in there, but one of those like, out of respect for Barrick, I'm not going to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I mean, to put it bluntly, it was a goodbye. So yeah. I'd avoid that.
Negative.
I mean, I had to read it in case there was details,
right?
Of,
I'll ask you right now, radio, just because Matt Martin said it. Can I fly Air 1?
Stuff, but yeah, it wasn't the nicest thing to do.
But yeah, out of respect for Barrick, I have zero desire to read it, because when you're in that, when you're in a place where you are writing a goodbye to individual people because you don't know whether or not things are going to pan out, like, you can't plan that moment. Like, it's happening in real time, and what is being said is kind of like a should anything happen, and because he's still with us, I don't feel it appropriate. I understand why you did. You had to, given the circumstances, but I can't. I can't, because you have to be mentally somewhere that, in an overwhelming majority of situations, you never have to be. And I don't want Barrick to feel as though, like, I will ever think differently of him, regardless of whether or not what he put is good or bad. Like, I'm gonna let him know I have no idea what's in there, and I don't want to know. Like, just.
It's a long story, and it involves a rat who was the sheriff. Okay.
If I had to
That rat
equate this
was
to
a
something,
rat,
it's
okay?
like.
It's a long and
It's not a fair comparison in the slightest, but for the same reason, when all of the like Sky text message drama stuff was happening, like zero desire, none, absolutely none. Out of respect for Sky, like there's no shot I would ever go through and look at what somebody was sending in terms of text messages. That's absurd.
Right.
It's like a breach of privacy, and it's just it's like icky. Like I don't know, maybe it's because I have a general understanding of like, you know, how you and I talk is far different than how I don't fucking know, let's say Lucas and Pins talk, and you might have these, you know, these inside jokes that other people may look at and sort of turn their head sideways because they have no fucking context, because that conversation was never meant to be outside of those two individuals, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't want to hint at it. Like, I want nothing. To me, it doesn't exist, outside of, you know, when I do eventually get to speak to Barrick, letting him know that I heard that there was a journal, but that I have not and will not read it out of respect for him. And I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, you can read it. It's fine. But it's still a no, regardless of what he says.
Yeah, it's I don't know, he wrote it in a moment of like, I guess, acceptance and stuff like that of what might happen, and he was just being vulnerable with himself and writing something in case something bad happened. And I think that bad thing thankfully hasn't happened, so no one should be reading it.
I agree.
It's an infinity.
That's where I stand. Do we have like much context behind who, like, we know who's responsible, but like, I think we do. I don't know. The general group.
We know that it was Tripass or Tripass. I don't know how to say it. It's Spanish. And Beric said it was Edgar De Castillo, Brandon Valentino, Sonia Summers, and then he said the Faceless was there, and I'm going to imagine that's the guy that we've identified a few times wearing a blue suit and a skull mask.
Now, when you say skull mask, are we talking like, do you remember when OTT used to roll around with a skull mask? It was a long time ago, but
I can't remember. It's like the full, like it's like fully over his head, all the way round.
I don't get to do anything.
Kind of decorated a little bit.
You want me to
Let me see if I can.
hold on one second.
Oh, really? No.
Say the word Captain, I'll talk to you right now.
Oh, do it. Huh?
You have to chop him, just, you know, maybe smack him around a little bit.
Poisonous food.
Oh,
What the hell? What the...
Sky got a ping from McQuillan earlier.
Oh, really?
Yes. However, there was nothing. She said she checked the area and there was nothing. The ping was like from the middle of a road, and I informed her that with you there was a note. With King, there was a note. King's, I believe, happened yesterday. I don't believe there's a report written. And then referencing reports, I saw Arcadia as well, and there was also a note.
Yeah.
So I find it weird that there wasn't one for Sky.
Yeah, maybe given she was the one who prosecuted, then you might be going after her directly.
I want to check the area that she was at. I want to say she said somewhere off of Steel Way. Let's see if she wrote a report. Nothing. I mean, Sealway's up here. It's possible that it was missed, but I don't know where the ping was.
I'm sending you a text message. Have a look at that. That's the guy that's been spotted a few times now. Suspected to be the faceless, or at least one of the members. So we know who kidnapped Barrick, you know, but it's about proving it, right? We
Yeah.
arrested Sonia Summers and a guy called PC, or his first name N. So we had those two in custody. They're on a hold, but I still haven't got their phone records. Because the original one got denied on duration. So I need to resubmit and get their phone records before we do anything, really. But
I mean, what period of time are you requesting?
so what I requested is, so let's say Barrett was found on the 15th. I requested the 16th for UTC reasons, and then I went all the way back to the 2nd of January. And the reason I did that was because NPC's phone, his phone number that we got on scene from his phone came back to the scene on the 2nd of December, 2nd of January, when Larry Knox got attacked by a helicopter, and that number called him up and was like, "Are you scared now?" That was the number that called him, right? So I was like, okay, for him, I'm gonna do all the way back to the, I think I did the 1st of January, and because Sonia Summers was caught in, with him, and it's connected to the faceless, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go all the way back to the 1st, but that got denied. It's been denied on the grounds. I said a couple of times with me now with the same judge, and I don't know how I feel about it, but it's basically the duration requested is so extended. This
Hey,
guy.
Hello.
hey, question. Where did you get that ping?
Just around the corner over here.
Basically, the duration was so long that you might find evidence of other crimes, and so
Right here, literally right here.
So weird.
So there was nobody here, nothing here.
All the other people, you're saying that they like got a note with his
Yeah,
number and stuff
every
on it?
single person. I know of 3. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to jump in.
He texted me directly.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I think most of the notes included his phone number and made the implication of like keep in touch.
Yeah, no, he got in contact with me. He said, really gotta work on that response time. She might still be here if you had some urgency. I told him to go to hell. He said, "Aw, you don't mean that." And I said, "With every fiber of my being, I do." He said, "She's not at rest yet, you know? When you go out like that, who knows if you could truly be at rest." I said, "She'll be at rest once you're rotting in prison." And he said, "As long as I'm alive, she won't be." And I said, "No, I believe in justice, not getting even." And I haven't gotten a response.
He's such a sick bastard. He really is.
Yep, but I mean, he when he was granted bail that day, when he was brought in custody originally, he basically was asking me like, "Oh, are you scared? Are you afraid of dying and stuff like that?" And I told him like, I will never be afraid of him, and I'm not afraid of dying. And he said, "Okay, we'll see about that." So he's just trying to scare me. On other topics, though, Barrick, I'm gonna tell you, Richard, the same thing I told Rhodes. He did write a note. There's the notebook that we talked about.
Yeah.
With the goodbyes in it.
That's a
There are
38.
several people
And
it
get
like
back up.
with specialized notes towards them.
Full same traffic.
You have one. You are welcome to read it if you'd like.
I've read the notebook already.
You already read it all? Okay.
Yeah, I got the search
didn't
warrant,
know.
so I know.
Yeah, I tried to read it before, but they put it in the wrong put it back in the wrong locker. And so I had to get in contact with her, but it's in there now.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Do we know how he's doing otherwise? Like just
As far as I was told today, I was told by Perez, and Perez obviously is in Hades with Kit. She's like they saw him, were in contact with him. He's just kind of doing his mountain man thing, wandering around. Apparently he's got a big old backpack on stuff, just walking around, thinking about things that have happened. He does have a new number, but he's not making any phone calls to people or anything like that. He's just, I guess, he doesn't know who to trust right now.
What's his new number?
I
You
don't
got
have
it?
No.
Okay.
Perez didn't even, I don't even know if Perez has it. But, he basically just told me to be in Limitless at all times, and Barrick will call, if he wants to. But it would be from an unknown number.
I normally avoid those, so it's a good thing you mentioned that.
Yeah, I just...
Well, I mean, obviously, whatever happened to him is gonna have an effect on him, and it sounds like he's sort of gone back to before he was hired in the police department, which is fucking crazy, because how you're explaining him to me is how I found him on Alta when Turner was around, and then coincidentally Turner was around yesterday.
Yeah.
Turner's around.
He was around yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, it was... Me and him would just walk around the city before we got rehired.
It's so crazy. The timing of all of this. Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, was it purely just to gauge response time? Like, because if there was no note, like everybody else, for you specifically, and then he mentioned something about response time, he was watching. And there's a million places you can watch from here, right? Like, maybe yours just was for the sake of determining response time as opposed to everyone else's, which was a, hey, here's my number, keep in contact.
No, I think it's quite literally just to try to taunt me, because when
100%.
they shot Pierce, I was there within, like, as soon as, like, her alert went off, and I was there maybe within 5 to 10 seconds. So almost as fast as you can be without being directly on the fucking scene.
Right.
Obviously they were already gone since our buttons, like, you know, they go off like 30 seconds or whatever it is. So
it's still crazy how that all worked out where I had a traffic stop with him, then
Yeah.
went towards Mission Row, and the passenger was silent and masked up with the motorcycle helmet, and then as I'm pulling up to Mission Row, they're going through the alleyway towards Little Bighorn, and then I explain this as like it's the only car I saw in that general area, and then you explain what you saw earlier, and it's like everything just fucking, the pieces of the puzzle all just connected.
Yep.
I don't understand why some people opt to live that life, which is like entirely unnecessary. There's no reason. Actually, that's not true. They want power and control, and so they take vulnerable people and give them a sort of a flawed purpose, I guess. I don't know what the proper justification is, but I know how I'm gonna treat him. I'm not paying him any attention. I'm not giving him the time of day. My responses to him are gonna be short, to the point, pretty much saying and giving nothing. Because I feel like if he's trying to provoke a response, giving him that response will only encourage him to do it more and more and more. And although I haven't gotten anything yet, I imagine it's coming in the near future.
I'm gonna be honest. I think if people are gonna try to provoke you with this stuff, it's going to be flop.
Well, I know what I'll say. Maybe I won't. No. I'm not going to. I'm not gonna poke the bear. But what I would want to say, rather, is I don't know, I guess it would depend on whether or not this was like verbal, but it's considerably more than what he said the day he was wearing the fucking mask in the passenger seat. Didn't say a fucking word. But I'm going to keep that to myself and not say that to provoke a response.
Well, he gets out of prison in like 21 in change hours, I believe. Basically at the
So
start
pretty
of
much,
shift 3.
yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Well,
And then he'll be on parole for 7 days.
the thing is, he will do stuff on parole. There's not a
Absolutely.
doubt in my mind. And it doesn't even matter if he ultimately gets caught doing something during parole. It's irrelevant because he'll fall back on, you know, the whole idea of accepting this new lifestyle and responsibility for what he's done. And I don't know if it was you or Richard that told me, but how this is so in line with how any ex-cop joining.
It exactly, like there's a lot of parallels with
Yeah.
what happened with TJ.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest concern, because it seems as though right now, if you are a police officer who feels they have been wronged or by any means, whether that's you leaving the police department, you getting fired, whatever, the only way, seemingly, that you can prove yourself as fully being done with that life is taking the life of another cop. And that is fucking wild.
I will say, in the couple exchanges I've had with Sean, he's hinted towards our friend at the lighthouse, trying to get me to go talk to him, and like trying to push me to set up some kind of deal.
Don't do it.
Oh, nope, I don't touch that place with a 10-foot pole.
Mm-hmm.
I will let Anastasia rest.
As she should.
we've seen shown up that way.
Oh, that's
We
how
also
I
saw
got him in a chase before he was apprehended. Was I went up towards the lighthouse and it was there.
Shang's car was up there on a couple of days ago too. It's just a group of people obsessed with death.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
For a group named what they are, can't they just take the fucking hint?
True. True.
It's right in front of them. And yet, Sky, whatever you do, and I know you've already said you never would, but it doesn't matter how appealing they make that deal seem, it's not worth it.
I've heard enough stories. I'm good.
Maple's calling me. Give me a second.
Hey, did you get my text?
Hey, Maple.
Call me, okay?
I want your opinion on something before I post it as an announcement because
Okay.
I am very bad when it comes to tone. I want to make sure I'm not getting a bad tone on this announcement.
Okay. What's up?
Can you take a look at report 17928?
Let's see.
It should be called escaping custody and felony obstruction.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong. Though I don't know that I would shorten accomplice. I'd probably just spell it out just for the sake of someone not confusing that with accessory. But aside from that, yeah, I don't see any issue
Fair.
with that.
All right, I will update that. Thank you.
No problemo.
Yeah, that was it.
When did you get that clarification? Is this like
Literally
very
today.
recent? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
perfect.
literally today. There was a situation. There was a warrant that was put up for Liam Law, and I was looking through it, and I was like, with how escaping custody is written, technically speaking, you should have to be in custody to be charged with escaping custody. But Anita went and spoke to Justice Falconer, and he said accomplice to escaping custody is more specific version of felony obstruction of justice and applies when a suspect is broken out of custody at any point after they've been cuffed on scene until they're sent up. Also said that it is not to be stacked with felony obstruction.
Okay, but we don't charge for attempts. So like unless a charge has an attempt, like an
Did I say-
attempted
did I s-
murder.
Did I say attempt?
No.
Thank
But my
you.
question is, if somebody attempts to get somebody who's in custody but fails to do so,
637.
That would be felony obstruction.
because the other requires that the person escape the custody. So if they take the person, right, the person
Yeah.
who is in cuffs is getting escaping custody. The person who picked him up is getting accomplice to escaping custody, but it's a little wonky because I don't know.
In many cases,
Because we
if
don't charge for
people-
attempts before, years ago, many years ago, the penal code was written in a way where it stated if you attempt a crime, you're guilty of a crime. So it didn't matter if you were successful. Ultimately, the attempt in and of itself was enough. So in that
Right.
case, pushing escaping custody would apply. But if they didn't actually escape the custody, are we instead defaulting to felony obstruction?
I would think so, because at that point they were already committing felony obstruction, most likely, by interfering in a pursuit, interfering with officers on scene.
Individual.
So I could add a clarification to the announcement and be like, and do like a little breakdown. If suspect taken from custody equals accomplice to escaping custody. If suspect attempted to escape custody but does not, then felony obstruction.
Out of my sight.
Got it.
Do you think I should add that to the announcement, or just let them deal with it?
I don't know. Like it makes me question whether or not this is something that can be sorted in like meetings as opposed to an announcement. I don't know.
I just think announcement to cover all the shifts, to let everybody know, so that it's not.
I mean, yes, you're not wrong there. You're certainly not wrong.
Those two individuals is a male and a female.
I don't want to get into like
okay,
a whole
so
breakdown in the
the
announcement.
thing is, if they want to go down the route of if they're successful in doing so, then that increased crime should not have a lesser time. Like the consequence isn't making sense when escaping custody is 11 months and felony obstruction is 18. Although it does have an increased fine of like, I don't know, $400 extra dollars. Like the math ain't
mathing. I was
mathing.
looking at as well. There's a lot of math that ain't mathing for a lot of things.
Yeah. Though I do think judges do have on their priority list to sort out the penal code, both definition-wise and stuff. So that could potentially just get resolved in the near future.
So I think I'm gonna leave it as this, without the whole breakdown of if they get them, then charge this. If they don't, then don't charge it.
I mean, if they're saying felony obstruction is a lesser charge, then they can't be found not guilty by not pushing escaping custody. Like if it really is just one or the other, then an officer would have the choice to push one or the other.
Yeah.
So it's probably not a big deal. Yeah. I don't see it being much an issue.
All right. I'm gonna bump this to an announcement. Another thing, which I think you might find interesting. I am going to war with the DOJ over the window tint charge.
Why?
Because I'm not sure if you've looked at it recently, or last time you looked at the window tint charge. But government employees need permission from a justice to have what would be considered illegal window tint.
Right.
I have attempted to follow through on that request by contacting a judge to go through to a justice, because there's never a justice here in Shift 3, in order to acquire such a permission by a justice. And then when the justice heard my argument, they said, yeah, that makes sense, but I don't want to open a can of worms. So no.
Oh.
And so I'm sorry, but if you guys want us to go to you to get permission, and then you're going to say, well, we don't want to give anybody permission, then why is that even written in the charge?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the window tint charge, did that not change before the government shit changed and like was a city hall like?
It was a city hall change, I believe, yes. Because it did not used to. It used to be government.
Well, if we got rid of everything else, we might as well get rid of that.
Well, I don't think we need to get rid of it. I'm just saying that.
No, I mean to get rid of it as in roll it back.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. If they're not going to want to actually follow through with how the charge is written and give us approval if we request approval, then what the fuck is there? What's the point of having approval?
Yeah, no,
requested?
I agree with you. I agree. It is silly if they say follow this process and then hear your process or hear your reasoning, and this is the process, and then they say, yeah, I get where you're coming from, but don't want to open a can of worms. Denied. I'm gonna be real. I don't want window tint on my fucking car. I had it once. I couldn't see shit when I needed to shoot someone. It was the most atrocious thing ever in existence.
I can see out of my window fine.
Oh, well, whatever vehicle I was in, I could not.
I know there was issues with tints in a while back where like you could not, like it was pure fucking black on the windshield. I think for the Taurus at one point.
Yeah, it was the Taurus at the time for sure.
It was pure black. It still might do that with the Taurus. Looking at my Premiere, it looks fine.
Maple, I got a dip. I'm speaking with Richard.
Copy
Yeah, yeah.
that.
All right.
Westbound.
Tell him I say hi.
Will
Hi.
do. It's easier if I just say Richard. Don't
Yep,
worry.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We were just talking about window tint, and I don't want to delay this conversation. I don't even know where we left off.
Southbound through the promenade. Affirmative, it's just the two of us. Left. San Andreas.
What
all
you
I
done?
no deal.
Left.
No deal.
Down
That's
North
it.
Upper Drive.
No,
We're
that's
facing
not
a black
happening.
Pillar drug car 2 times. This
Good.
is from a 37 call. Continuing northbound through the alleyways towards Red Desert and left westbound Red Desert.
Been there, done that.
Is TLT on shown at the minute?
Right, northbound Bay City Avenue.
I have not the slightest
Right,
idea what
East America.
TRT is doing anymore since Jimmy was fired.
Right.
Jimmy got fired.
Towards Red Desert.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Right, westbound
Yeah.
Red
Did
Desert,
Carmine
left
get fired
southbound Bay
too?
City Avenue.
No, he did not. Neither did Gregory Johnson.
Why
Left,
not?
eastbound San Andreas.
What they did was
Huh?
equal and or worse.
Richard North Rockford. Left, north.
Huh?
Especially Gregory.
Oh, you're gonna make me go on a rant. I can't talk about this topic. I will go on a rant.
Vehicle 50 on
That actually,
Marathon.
that doesn't make any sense.
Continuing right
Sounds like there's some
northbound,
favoritism going on.
Rockford. Left, westbound.
Who the fuck
through
likes
alleyways
Carmine?
behind This little old mechanic shop. Continue westbound towards Bay City Avenue.
Probably Peter's.
Just one. That too.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Southbound,
Carmine makes me laugh
left,
here and there,
on
but like, there's no way they're gonna take a workhorse like Frost in 3.
westbound, Red Desert.
R-
Immediate left, southbound through the alleyways behind the
And if
color
Richard is telling me what the others did was equal or worse,
through the alleyways towards San
no, there ain't no
So-
way.
Westbound San Andreas. Left, southbound
So
jumping
the Carmine
over
one.
towards Prosperity. continuing
They're
southbound
claiming that Ruby told him to go to talk to Nino and tell him the information that he did. That's what they're
Left.
claiming.
Eastbound.
Um, and then with Johnson, it was decided
Right.
because
Taking the
we
stairs
did
up
the
towards
initial
Tackle Street, you need
punishment,
to
and
go
that was
around.
myself and
Almost down
Daisy.
this side.
We did the
I
initial
don't-
punishment,
Actually, I can't get a
and now it's, you know, it had been like well over a
PCB
month
at the
later,
moment.
I think, basically.
Yeah,
To go in retrospectively and be like,
they're heading
oh,
south.
you're fired,
Come
actually,
back out to
was
Palomino,
in poor taste,
just south of your
and
location.
Went around.
just
The right
decided
eastbound
not to
now is
fire him
Palomino.
this time. He's hardly on duty as it is,
Northbound
anyways.
South Rockford.
Essentially. And then there
Heading
was
northbound Decker.
new evidence found
Same
against
here.
Jimmy Frost of the high command type.
Eastbound maybe Starway.
So he was fired. They weighed his
Right,
grievance
Invader,
more heavily
Invader,
because he is a command member.
Invader.
So would that not just imply
We're eastbound South Boulevard Del Perro.
like a heftier consequence within the PD that doesn't necessarily have to result in a firing? Because that seems excessive.
Apparently, a demotion from sergeant to officer
Southbound
wasn't
towards
enough.
Eastbourne Way.
Huh?
That pretty much should the lane
And they
come
want-
out of
yeah.
But they are shooting themselves in the fucking leg and don't even realize
They
it.
don't
Holy
care
fuck.
about shift 3, Rhodes. They don't give a fuck
Going
about
up the
us.
stairs to the, jewelry store,
They
they're gonna
don't
come out
care
on
about the
Eastbourne Way.
shift. They don't at all. Hello. Maybe.
Facts, bro. I couldn't agree more.
Shut up, idiot man.
Just don't care.
They double back to
Hey,
Castle Way.
I hope that.
Right.
Never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna say.
What
Now say
the
it.
hell?
Say it.
We got through Mount Zona to Dorset.
Fucking God.
Yeah, that seems incredibly short-sighted.
Crossing over to San Vitus.
I can tell you now, if I was a member of high command and it was explained to me that way, there's no way in a what?
Hey, wait,
What are you gonna say?
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just gonna talk to Dark
I'm
specifically.
gonna cut west and head north from here. Cut east.
Fuck that.
Good run yesterday.
I hope the faceless fucking decapitates you.
Oh, my. Oh.
Hey! Hey! Oh! Hee hee!
Oh, wow.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this guy's. Yeah.
Checking the garage
Fuck
down
that.
here in case they get in the garage.
So,
Having it explained that way, where One is a... Oh my god. Hold on. Can I ask this? Obviously, I'm not privy to exactly what was, like, the context of what was said, but, like, what is Frost accused of leaking? Like, specifically? Did he give an officer's location? Like, are we dealing with, who did that? Oh my god. It was so many years ago, but, like, they gave an officer's location and then that officer, I don't know if they got shot or died or something. Like, was it calling someone up and being like, hey, fuck off?
I mean, we can.
Let's go over here.
I mean, I don't.
Because, like,
I think Dark would probably know exactly what was leaked more
yeah,
than
I don't want, listen, I'm not trying to get either of y'all in trouble either. So, like, if this isn't info I should know, don't tell me. But, like, the context obviously matters. And if he was, the thing is, it would be unlike Frost to be giving an officer's location to someone or telling someone, you know, go this way to avoid the police. You know what I mean? Like, all of that is unlike Frost. So I can't fathom what he would have actually said or have been accused of stating or leaking to justify being fired. It's just, it's so crazy. Like, his punishment was more severe, despite the fact that what caused this is seemingly on par or less severe than other people who were not fired. And the justification was, well, he was of command, so it's weighed differently. And while I understand that, holy fuck, do you not see the value in someone who's already in command?
They don't, because they don't look at shift 3. They don't care about what goes on in shift 3. They don't know everything that he does, even though I tried to explain it. But as far as, like, the details of the leak and stuff, I actually wasn't privy to the information because I was a suspect of the leak.
Huh?
Because I had 2 phone calls with Jackie Snow.
Yeah, and I had one too. When he called me and told me I should stop pursuing a certain car the day that he was caught. And he told me he didn't want me to get hurt. And then he gets out of the fucking car and starts shooting at me.
Yeah, but do you have a 297-page document listing out apparent ways that you're corrupt?
Oh my
Certain
god.
members of the PD still believe to this day for whatever reason.
Well, people are fucking stupid.
Believe I barely have visual
Holy fuck.
Well, I mean, the investigation's over and the guy's been fired, so I don't think it's pretty privileged information anymore.
This is my formal request to notify, or to, this is my intent for a FOIA.
Essentially, Sean McQuillan was robbing a cash exchange. This was, I think it was really early on after Snow's warrant had been written. Not the search warrant, but the arrest warrant. I think it was maybe the day of or the day after. I might be completely wrong about that. It might be a few days after that. By the way, Sean McQuillan was at a cash exchange robbery, and I guess he went out to talk to the officers, and Frost was there. I think Ruby was there. Mello? I can't remember. But basically, the claim that was made and is founded was that basically Sean went to speak to him, not about anything in particular, and noticed that Frost was like being down about stuff, I guess. So Sean, you know, as he does, starts digging for the tea, and Frost starts spilling it about the whole search of Jackie's property and things like that. And so Sean was asking about the warrant, and Jimmy gave over all the information about his arrest warrant that obviously wasn't public or anything like that. But, you know, it was, I think it was like, I can't remember, I think it was like $3 million in fines, 400 charges, a hot charge, you know, that kind of thing. And
Hold on. Oh, sorry. Let me. I'll let you finish, because surely there's more.
No, he told that was it. He told Sean all the details of Jackie Snow's warrant.
He told him
Unprompted.
the charges of an arrest warrant.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
And that was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would get fired if I called someone up and said, you have a warrant out for your arrest. These are the charges. If you were to plead guilty and turn yourself in right now, I give you this time off, and this is the fine. I would get fired? What did I leak?
High command, I'll be honest.
Huh?
I think it's. I think the difference was that he wasn't talking to Snow. He was talking to some random Irish guy from ADMC.
Left. Boulevard Del Perro eastbound.
What's the difference? What about the...
Past the church.
What has changed?
What do you mean?
Eastbound hall.
What changed? What was affected?
You want to bet with Snow? Or?
Yes.
San Vitus.
Because, for example, with perjury, right?
Yeah.
Los Lagunas.
There needs to be something that was lied about that actually sort of changes the outcome, or like would change the course in court. It can't just be a white lie that meant absolutely nothing.
Selgin.
What changed? How is it so detrimental that 3 months down the fucking road he gets fired?
Apparently, also, Peters was very pissed off at the fact that, according to him, when Jimmy was questioned about the league, and Jimmy denied it and everything like that, saying that he would never do such a thing. And then the new evidence was brought out against Jimmy. Peters was pissed at the fact that he was saying that Jimmy blatantly lied to his face and stuff like that. Which, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy just fucking forgot. Because it was so
That's
long.
not a fucking leak. Listen, if somebody who had a warrant out for their arrest said, Rhodes, what are my charges? What's my time and fine? And that's the only information I fucking gave them. Or an attorney called on their behalf. Would I say it to some random Joe Schmo? Probably not. But, that's not a leak. That's not hidden information. People need to know why they're gonna be arrested.
I can agree with you that I think that people should know what their warrants are. I do agree with you on that, but this wasn't Snow. This was someone else.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me take a look at the roster here. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Let me. I'm a very logical thinker. I would argue. Okay. Den has a warrant out for his arrest for violating a court order, and I'm confused.
He's fired. It just hasn't been reflected on anything for
Okay.
Because basically it makes Peters upset. But
I was gonna say, there's no way.
She's fired.
There's no way one of the big people in this whole case gets a violation of a court order, an active warrant out for their arrest.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the paperwork since I won't do it.
And the person who gave charges, time, and fine gets fired, but not the person who didn't do the court case that they were expected to do. And to be clear, I don't dislike Dan at all. I actually like Shiesty. He's
What do you mean by the charges, time, and fine? What was that? Who's that?
This is referring to Frost.
Oh.
There's no way someone who in that same situation, because that all revolves around the same scenario, that the person responsible for the court case doesn't do court case stuff, gets violation of a court order, has an indefinite warrant pending their arrest, and they're still an officer, and the person who charges oh my, I am confusion. The math is not mathin'.
I mean, I would say, I'll make an argument for, I guess, the other side of the coin, which
Okay.
was, let's say Jackie wasn't aware of his charges, which we don't know whether he was or not already, right?
Uh-huh.
Then he finds out from Joe Schmo, Irish McQuillan, that he's got a hag charge because Frost decided he's gonna tell, you know, this random guy all the charge, right? Jackie didn't know that he was gonna go in for a hut, right? Let's say he just thought he was gonna go in for all the possessions in his house, but now he realizes, oh, I'm gonna go to prison for a long time, and he fucking flees the country, right? He goes to starts drinking mojitos in Tahiti, right? So now we've got
Okay.
a suspect that non-extradition country is never going to face justice in this country. Now, whose fault would that be? It'd be Frost, because he didn't know about it.
Right, eastbound occupation.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I can see where you're coming from, but I don't think that falls on Frost. If we're pushing charges, like, wait, hold on. Additionally, was this stuff before stuff was on the docket? Like, I'm confused.
I'll be honest, I don't know the exact timeline with docket postings and warrants. Like I said, I can't remember exactly when he told him. I don't know whether it was because there was a warrant with there was an incident with all the charges. At one point, there was like a separate incident, but it wasn't a warrant. That was soon after the raid, and the charges didn't go up for a while after the raid either. So I really don't know the timeline on things.
Oh my god, this is the... It's almost like there is no value assigned to the information leak. Like, this wasn't a... We're investigating the fucking Grove Street for drug sales. Get the fuck out of there. We're on the way. Nothing changed.
Why I was gonna go on a rant.
I'm on a rant. This is the dumbest thing I've heard.
Especially, let's be honest. Let's stop and think about who we're talking about right now. We're talking about Jackie Snow, former chief of
I'm sorry.
police,
I have to recycle to calm myself down.
ex-trooper, however many years of tenure under his belt. He knew damn well what he was going to be facing.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I just got a little bit of relief putting those in the...
Like, Snow was a very smart man. He knew exactly what he was going to be facing. As soon as he realized that house was raided. I tried, and I tried my hardest to fucking save Jimmy, but once, you know, Peter's got the evidence he did, I couldn't do anything.
Oh my god.
What was his evidence?
What do you thought about secondary continuing eastbound Howick?
Heck, maybe.
Switch drivers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this stemmed from a conversation with the guy that we all absolutely fucking hate and wish would I don't wish to say show up dead, but you know,
Putting in a jail cell would be nice.
yeah, for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Who, correct me if I'm wrong, was found guilty and then fled.
Yep. Has 3 warrants for his arrest right now.
Uh-huh. And
Slowing left eastbound through Benny's Laneway. Coming out Power
you ever see a dog very excited when they hear the word walk? They fucking tilt their head sideways.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. I need you to know that, like, for 90% of this conversation, you may not have noticed. My head has been tilted sideways trying to make sense of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing sunglasses so you can't see, but I'm like simultaneously squinting despite the fact that I don't need to see anything. I'm just confused.
It's
Now
it's rough, and
Eastbound Covenant now.
they're like, when it comes to
That's
Jimmy
northbound
like
Roy
getting
Lowe.
rehired and stuff,
Wisconsin.
they don't even want him to get rehired after 30 days by
West
visa.
McDonald.
They want him to wait longer
Citizens.
if he ever is to get rehired, period. And they want to
Westbound on the
blacklist
Rolla
him
line,
from
parallel
ever
to the
being
Bighorn,
command ever
right.
again.
Eastbound Capital. That's popular.
Huh.
Yep.
Way to El
But
Rancho.
Jimmy is suing the LSPD. It's on the docket.
Left northbound El Rancho.
He FOIA'd the reports that they had against him, and he's working with the lawyer Robin.
Going off road. They don't know enough.
He's suing him
for?
Enough speed.
What'd you say?
What's he suing him for?
Probably something along the lines of wrongful termination.
Being
I read the
incorrectly
docket
traveled
posting. I
to
can't remember
the
right now.
turnoff for Del Perro Freeway.
He's not asking for my.
Right north.
Honestly, it's not a bad idea because he can ask questions in court that he likely would not have gotten a straight answer to outside of court.
I think he has a couple of the reports he FOIA'd as evidence against him. Judge Ava just accepted it today on the docket. He's calling people and asking them to be a character witness for his case.
I'll be a fucking character witness.
I think he has you on the list of
Good.
things he wants to ask.
Good. I will be there.
He's gonna probably call you at some point and ask you if you will. I know he's called myself, Lucas, and Alice already. I think Alice and Lucas are probably doing it. I told him I had to think about it because it puts me in a position, considering my
Girl,
position.
Sky, let me tell you. Your life would be considerably more enjoyable not in high command or command. Now, what that means for LSPD in Shift 3 is almost irrelevant considering we operate as a UPD. The only concern would be whoever, if there is even someone to take your spot. Maple would be the only one, probably. If they would agree with that mindset. But, like...
So, funny you say because, obviously I'm a captain. I was going to promote a lieutenant in Shift 3, and I wanted to, but see, the person that I wanted to promote kept denying it. That was Frost.
Oh.
Maple's not ready to be a lieutenant. He has made some mistakes as a sergeant even that I've had to talk to him about. There is nobody to replace me, as far as Shift 3 goes. As far as a captain spot, no.
Then why don't they listen to you? Do they not realize the position that they're in? If you're gone, there is no Shift 3 LSPD High Command. There is only Maple who will have more burden on him because the entirety of the PD on that side will fall on him. Again, even though Shift 3 operates as UPD, the day-to-day won't necessarily change, but, like, who are they going to communicate with to figure out what's going on? Because that's you. You have the overlap with them.
Maybe they have a new high command there.
Turner?
Well, maybe. Like I said, if he wants my spot, if he wants his spot back, he can have it. I'll take these bars and put them on him personally.
I don't know. It genuinely seems so short-sighted, just on the basis that if you have been arguing these points or saying these things and you're not getting listened to, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Shift 3 has always been, like, you are the Shift 3 LSPD Chief of Police. Lucas is the Shift 3 Sheriff. Like, that's how it is. That's how it's always been. And everyone understands their place in Shift 3. So to have high command sort of dabble in that is crazy, especially if your recommendation you know, in terms of punishment
Oh, fuck, I'm
gets
on
like
fire. It's,
overlooked.
blue jugular.